Hello, I am Daniel, and in this video today I'm going to be telling you about some benefits that I have gotten after I stopped using social media as I used to do before. It's not new for anyone that the world it's kind of very crazy nowadays with social medias. And this is a subject that I want to talk about a little bit here because I have been far away from social media for about more than 1 year now, and I'm gonna be sharing some thoughts of how I feel and how I have felt throughout this entire time that I'm not using social media as I used to before. It's a little bit crazy, if I mean not a lot crazy, and at the same time scary of how people treat the way they use social media. For example, the other day, it was not a long time ago. I could say maybe a month ago, I met a person and we were talking, and then it was the first time I was seeing this person. We started a conversation, and all of a sudden she asked me, "What is your Instagram?" And I said, "I don't have Instagram." And actually I do, but I don't use it for more than 1 year. And her reaction was she was shocked. She looked at me like, are you joking with me? And I said, I don't have Instagram. I do, but I don't use it. And so she turned to me and she said, what kind of person don't use Instagram nowadays? And I came to realize, not only because I was talking to this girl, but since I stopped, I gave a very long break for using social media. I came to realize how crazy is this thing that you have to be sharing everything about your life, you know? And I have this thought not only because I was talking to this girl about it, but also because since I stopped doing it like I used to before, I started to observe, to look at my life, the way I was sharing everything that I was doing on the internet, in every place I go to, everything I saw, I used to take pictures. And this has no problem at all as long as you have some kind of control of what you do, and as long as you don't live for other people. And I'm gonna tell you the benefits that it has made, that I gained in my life since I stopped using social medias as I was using before. So the first time that I ever realized that I was exaggerating using this was because I was living in São Paulo in the year of 2021, and I was walking in the streets and I was not looking to the street, I was not looking to people. When I was crossing the street, I was not looking, ahead. I had my phone here. I knew where I was going, where I was headed to, and I used to walk kilometers away like this with my head down and messing on my phone because I knew exactly more or less the area that I was going to. But just to think about that, how crazy that was, because I was not paying attention around me. Do you understand me? I think, but at the same time, I was not focusing on what was in front of me. And one thing that made me realize, like, stop what you were doing now, was because I was in a park, in a very beautiful park. And when I was going to this park, I was walking like I said, not looking, sidewalks, like not looking in the streets, anything. I was just like this. And when I got at the park, I was with my headphones listening to some music. And then it was a very beautiful day, sunny day. And then I sat on this grass at the park, and then I was looking for a Wi-Fi connection to see videos on the internet or to connect on something. And then I was sitting down like this, and then I put my head like this, and then when I look ahead, I saw this lagoon with a lot of ducks, a lot of animals, and the water was a kind of green color water in that lagoon, in that park. And I started to observe the people, and I was thinking, what am I doing? This is such a beautiful day. I just left the place that I was because I wanted to be in a place to breathe a different air, and I'm stuck in the phone. So from that day on, I turned off my phone. Really, I did that. I put my phone on my pocket, and then I said to myself, I'm gonna enjoy the day. And since I did that, I started to not miss my phone so much, you know. For example, when I go to places, I can go without it. Or if I go to a park, or if I travel, or if I do something else, I can, definitely not use my phone. And it changed completely because I started to observe and to pay attention of how much the telephone, if you're not careful, it can control you. And I'm not saying that it's wrong to use social media. The meaning of this app is to connect people. But when it comes to a point that you are just living your life for others, there's something wrong on it. Because most of the times, me for example, I used to go to a lot of places and take millions of pictures of that place, and I used to post one picture only. And then if I was like spending 2 hours in that place, probably more than 1 hour, I was just clicking on my phone to take a picture, and I could have been, enjoying the place itself instead of being on the phone all the time. Also, last year I was with a friend of mine. We were in a city in Brazil. We were in the beach, and there was a very beautiful day. And I already at that time was not using my phone that much. But at that day I didn't have phone at all. And then we were just walking the sea and the people. It was a very beautiful Sunday afternoon. And there was this girl that was just watching her, and then she was coming with her family walking like this towards the beach, and she was like this in her phone. And the sea was, the water was blue, was crystal. It was so beautiful. And she was just like this. She didn't look at the sea. And then when she got closer, she looked, took a picture, put her head down, and kept walking. And she just gave her back to the sea and went away. She didn't stop and stopped and paid attention to what was in front of her. And for me, from that, I was thinking I was doing the same. And that's when I decided to change, because it's not good. And it's very crazy because nowadays, if you go to some place, or if you travel, if you do anything else, for example, now that I'm recording this video, 1 hour ago I was in a park. I was going for a walk over the city, and I had no phone. I didn't have my phone with me. And if I tell to some people or any other person, say, oh, I went to this park, or I went to this city, I traveled, the first thing that the people will ask you is, can you show me a picture? And then if you tell them, I don't have any pictures, they will tell you, are you crazy? Because why is this, this need to be taking photos of everything, making videos of everything you do? And I'm speaking for myself because I was like this. I started to observe me first, then others, I started to look at my life and seeing just like, why do I have the need to always show to people what I am doing? Because, okay, I'm gonna explain this. It's very different if you post something because you want to. Okay, I'm gonna share this. So, for example, I went to a very beautiful waterfall and I want to share this with people so that they can have an idea of where this place is, so they can know this place someday in their lives. But then, not because, okay, I have to post this picture because people have to know where I am. And social media makes this to you, like the need of you to be posting things all the time. And this is very sickening and it's very crazy. And I'm gonna tell you that after I stopped using social medias like I was using before, I barely use it now. And I started doing some things that are very have a lot of value in my life. For example, I started to read books. I started to do things without a telephone, going to a park and just sitting on the grass and looking things, because before it was like this and we used to enjoy. So now just because we have this little machine in our hands doesn't mean that you have to lose what you were doing before just because you have a cell phone now. And I'm gonna tell you that since I stopped doing social media as I was doing before, I barely use it now, my life became better. Because, for example, I didn't have the habit to read books. I was lazy to read a book, and I have been reading a lot. I didn't have the habit to go to places and just sit on a square and just to. Actually, I had this. I've always had, but after the cell phones, when the cell phones came, we always have the need to be photographing things. Do you know what I mean? And now I can do things with better quality than before, and it's crazy how the social media mess up your mind sometimes. It's very crazy because I remember when I was a teenager, and or probably after that when I was already an adult, I used to go for a walk in my city, in countryside city in the middle of Brazil, just an average city. Uh, and I used to go to some neighborhoods a little far away from my neighborhood just to take a walk over there. And I used to spend, the whole afternoon on those places. And some people would ask me, where have you been? I haven't seen you today. And I said, I was just going for a walk. So when I told them, and they would ask me, where were you walking on? I said, okay, I was walking in this neighborhood, and said the name of the neighborhood. And then they said, are you crazy? What were you doing there? There's nothing, funny, or there's nothing interesting on those places. But for me, I've always had this kind of adventurous blood running through my veins to discover places, to go to places that I have never been. And it doesn't matter if it's just a narrow street with a simple tree or an old house. I like this kind of things, to walk, to pay attention to details. And since these smartphones came, it looks like people are losing this identity of enjoying things for ourselves, because we are now stuck on this little machine. This is very crazy. Some friends of mine, I remember when I went to work on a cruise ship, and the first cruise ship that I worked in, it was in 2016. In 8 months, the itinerary of the ship crossed through 20 countries, 20 different countries. And most of the times, these people, sometimes we would go out together, in our free hours, and they were always saying, Daniel, are you crazy? What do you want to go on these streets? There's nothing here. Let's go to a shopping mall. Let's go to these places. And I used to tell them, I don't like this. I want to go in this street here. I want to see people walking on the street. I want to go to simple places to see how the real life is. But they just wanted to go to a shopping mall, to stay connected on the Wi-Fi. And for me, there's no problem at all, as long as you don't criticize the other things that other people do. Because if this is what you like to do, to go to a shopping mall and to get Wi-Fi connection, it's fine with me. As long as you are not criticizing me because I just want to take a walk on the streets and just see the birds or the trees. And they used to tell me, you are always walking, because a lot of places that we went to, for example, in Italy or any other places, the ship goes to the main ports many times in the same city. But every time that we stopped in those cities, I used to go to a different place. So I used to go to a park. The other day I used to go to a different square, different street. And most of the times I would go alone. And that was awesome, because I had to enjoy everything for myself. And I saw so many things. And then, if you ask those people, what have you experienced in these countries? Oh, in that country, I was sitting down, taking Wi-Fi connection. Okay, in Poland, I was in the shopping mall taking Wi-Fi connection. But if you ask me, I would say, okay, in Poland, I went to this square, I was in the park. And in Italy, I saw, very beautiful streets with the trees in the autumn season, in the fall, like all colorful. I like to enjoy and to see things like they are, not just because you have a phone and then you don't have to be connected with what is in front of you. You know what I mean? And I don't know. Things are very crazy. And also something that is very crazy, it's how people, they measure friendship with how much time you spend on your social medias, because ever since I stopped using social medias, I talk to few people, and that's awesome because you see what really is important in your life. For example, the other day, a few days ago, someone told me, Daniel, you travel a lot, right? And then I said, yes, I do. And then this person said, actually, she said like this, so you may have a lot of friends. I said, no, I know a lot of people, but I have few friends, because especially on social media, people just follow you because they want to see what your life is like, and then when you stop posting something, and they just don't care because they just want to see what your life is. And I'm not generalizing everyone, because you can have real friends who follow you and still are gonna be your friends, even if you don't post anything, or even if you erase every apps of social media that you have in your phone. But I'm talking by my experience, and today I live a better life, because sometimes when I was posting everything about my life, this was kind of toxic. Because, for example, even when I was traveling and I would post a picture, and so it would show on my timeline, and this person who we haven't been talking for about 5 years would see my picture and would send me a message like, why are you in this place and you didn't tell me? And I was like, huh? So, it's very crazy how people measure their friendships on social media, and you can see who are really your true friends when you stop using those things, because if they're really your true friends, they're gonna care about you, and they're gonna be caring about you no matter what, not only because of what you show of your life, but because how much of importance you have for them, and they have how much of importance that they have also for you. And it's kind of hypocritical for me to be saying this thing here, because this is also a social media here that I'm using, but it's not like Instagram or Facebook that you post things most of the times instantly, and people are seeing what you're doing at the moment. Because here I just wanted to post a video sharing these thoughts, but I can post this video maybe 1 year later or 5 years later. It's not a need to show what I am doing now. It's just a subject that came to my mind and I wanted to share with you. And yeah, things are kind of very crazy, and we have to be very careful, because otherwise we are not living for ourselves. We are living, if we let this control us, we're going to be living for other people. And I used to post a lot of my life on social media. If you look on my Instagram, you're gonna see that thousands of pictures. And do I really need to do that? No, I don't. And again, I feel very better now. I use my phone when I want to use. I see messages when I want to see. If I stay 2 days or 3 days not using my phone, it's okay for me, or maybe more than a week. I have been more than 2 months, almost 2 months without using my telephone. And a lot of people ask me, are you fine? But some of them I knew that because they were really worried about me, but many of them it's because they just were worried about what I was doing about my life. Not because they were worried about me, but because they wanted to see what I was doing, just to be checking out how your life is. But yeah, things are kind of crazy, and I just wanted to share this video and to share some thoughts about that. Thank you for watching.